Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to first start off by giving infinite praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushua, Ba'ashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. And peace and salutations to the elect men pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. This is the brother Yakanan from the DC Church. And the topic I wanted to touch on today, and this video will be entitled, "A Balanced Life is a Blessing." You know, we live in a world where we have where we have temptations. We have temptations, and we have certain lifestyles that promote living an unbalanced lifestyle, which ultimately just means let's live in a just living a carnal life, just indulging in the flesh and indulging in pleasures, but a balanced life is something that is something that it pleases the Lord, and it's what allows you to grow as a man. You know, a lot of men, living, especially living in America, live unbalanced lifestyles, meaning they overindulge in pleasures, they overindulge in things that don't pertain to the scriptures, they overindulge in things that won't help them in the future. And in the future, I'm talking about the future that it speaks of in the scriptures. I'm not talking about a financial future, or or the future that a lot of people think of, in which America and this power structure is going to be here for forever. I'm talking about the future where the kingdom is going to be established, where this rulership is going to go down. You know. And I wanted to get some scriptures, to go into why, having a balanced lifestyle is a blessing. It's only there to benefit you. It's there to benefit you, and it also pleases the Lord. Now, I want to start off with Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1. It says, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Yeah, that's plain and simple. It says a false balance is an abomination, and that's plain and simple. A lot of things in this world is a false balance. A lot of things in this world also has the illusion of balance, but it's really unbalanced. There's a lot of lifestyles that is unbalanced. There's a lot of things that are that's unbalanced. But a just weight is his delight, meaning you have to have the proper balance, and the proper balance is whatever allows you to grow in the spirit. I'll put it like that, because my balance won't be the same as another man's balance, and the amount of time that it takes for a man to learn a specific lesson or learn a specific thing or get understanding may not be the same time that it takes for another man, vice versa. There's certain things and certain aspects, and there's certain times and seasons into where you have to give more to the Lord. And that's just how it is. There's certain times and seasons where you can indulge a little bit more. Of course, you still have to be spiritual. You still have to have a righteous mindset. But there are times and seasons where you can let loose just a little, to where you can just let loose a little. And the thing about all these things is that the spirit will tell you. The Lord will show you times and seasons where, hey, you can indulge a little bit. You can relax. You can relax a little bit. You can do A, B, and C, but that you have to go right back into doing the things that please the Lord, and giving yourself to the Lord. Elders of the camp, one of the elders of the camp said, your lifestyle is mostly going to be 80% spiritual, 20% carnal, and the 20% really is just to keep you going, because you do have to, at the end of the day, you do have to feed the flesh. At the end of the day, we're in the flesh. You have to do maintenance. I remember, I brought that out a couple bit videos ago, talking about the maintenance of the spirit. There's also maintenance of the flesh, the things that you have to feed your flesh to keep it going. The maintenance of the spirit, though, is to help the spirit grow. Help the spirit, make the spirit, make your spirit stronger. We're trying to grow the spirit. We're trying to reap the rewards of the spirit. So with that, we have to give more to it. We have to make it strong. Now, continuing on, this is Romans chapter 8, verse 5. It says, "For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit." And those are, what's it called? And those are two different mindsets, two different men. What's it called? We're striving to be those men, and we're doing our best to be those men that strive after the things of the spirit. That mind the things of the spirit. We have to mind the things of the spirit as much as possible. The ones that mind, what's it called? The ones that mind the things of the flesh. That's 2/3 of our people. That's the majority of Israelites that you're gonna see do mind the things of the flesh, meaning they indulge and meditate upon the things that they can do to pleasure themselves in the flesh, whether it's money, whether it's women, whether it's physical exercise, whether it's vanity, meaning how they look, and all different sorts of things that are just vain, and that only have to do with improving their physical standing, their carnal standing, meaning the things that that a man can see, the things that men can see. The ones that mind the things of the spirit, however, they mind the things that a man can't physically see. The things a man can't physically see are the wisdom that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has bestowed upon you. The knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has bestowed upon you. The faith that He's allowed you to attain. So on and so forth. All those things are the things of the spirit that no man can physically see, but it's through those things that we're gonna get salvation, and that's the most important thing. Verse 6: "For to be carnally minded is death." So to be carnally minded is death. So those that are given into the flesh, that are given to carnal desires, those that mind the carnal things, they're given to death. They're what's it called? They're given to death. And the only way that it ends is death. Because if you're in the mindset of constantly feeding the flesh, yeah, the result is only going to be death. Meaning the lifestyle that you live according to that is death, because indulging in the flesh ultimately leads to sin. Constantly indulging in the flesh and giving your mind to carnal things, you start acting different. You start doing things different. You start not minding the things of the spirit, and when you don't mind the things of the spirit, you start disregarding Yahweh Hashem Yahushua's law, statutes, and commandments. And once you disregard the law, statutes, and commandments, and you sin, the wages of sin are death, and ultimately you give yourself to that, and give yourself to that mindset and that lifestyle. The only thing that ends with that is death. For it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. Oh yeah, because it's not subject to the law. And that's the reason. If you're carnally minded, it's going to manifest. What's it called? Physically, it's going to manifest in the flesh. And when it manifests in the flesh, you're going to sin. And when you're sin, you're obviously not you're not being subject to the law. Verse 8: So then they that are of the flesh cannot please God. You know, they that are of the flesh cannot please God. So if you're of the flesh, you're not going to be able to please God at all. You know, if you're constantly indulging in what's it called, in carnal pleasures, if you're constantly indulging in things that don't pertain to the spirit, it's impossible to please God, right? Because you're not because how do we show our faith? Through our works, you know, and and the scripture says without faith it's impossible to please God. It's impossible to please God. So if you're constantly indulging in the flesh, and you're not minding the things of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, it means you don't have faith, you know. So it goes hand in hand, you know. So if you're given into a carnal a carnal mind and carnal desires, and you don't have a proper balance, that means you don't have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know. And with that, it means that you can't please him, and you're given to death. Now, I'm going to call back Romans 8:6. Again, it says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. And that goes back into the title. You know, a balanced life is a blessing, you know. To be spiritually minded is life and peace. So being spiritually minded, you get life, and you also get a peace. And not only just life, you get a peaceful life, you know. Having there's nothing more there's nothing more valuable than life, and especially a peaceful life. When you have when you have a peaceful life, especially on this go around, where you're able to you know do the things needful to get salvation. Having peace while doing it will benefit you a lot, because you're going to be able to get receive and retain a lot of things. You know, where you're not going to be going through the same things that the common man has to go through. You're not going to have to learn learn lessons the hard way. You know, you're not going to have to. Your life is not going to have to. Life is not going to have to teach you a lesson 24/7 for you to be able to understand certain things. You know, to be spiritually minded, you're gonna have a life and a peaceful life, and that's a blessing. You know, having peace of mind and having a peaceful life, into where you're gonna be able to do what you need to please Yahweh Shem Yahushai is a blessing. You know, it's a blessing that not a lot of people have. You know, of course, you're still going to go through hell. You know, we're still in captivity, so it's not going to be peaches and roses. You know, but comparatively speaking to what it can be, if you're giving yourself to the flesh, you know, the lifestyle that you have when you're spiritually minded, when you have the proper balance according to Yahweh Shem Yahushai's will. There's not much that can beat that. You know. Now, this Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven, you know, and that's plainly put. You know, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So there's a time and place for everything. You know, and that goes back into having balance. You know, there's a time and place for everything. You know, of course, you can't just be one thing. You know, we're in the flesh right now. It's impossible to just be one thing. It's impossible to just do one thing. You know, of course, there's maintenance, and you have to have, you know, the proper balance, and you have to maintain both sides according to Yahweh Shem Yahushai's will. But being in the flesh, you're at a certain point, you don't need Yahweh Shem Yahushai to tell you, hey, you have to eat, you have to sleep. These are instinctual things that we have to do, that we know we have to do to keep ourselves going in the flesh. But not a lot of people know, in order to have a good lifestyle, you have to feed the spirit. You know, and that's why the scriptures heavily talk about the things that you have to do to feed your spirit to keep to please Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, because those are the things that are not plain and obvious to most people. Now, I'm gonna just call and read it. Read Ecclesiastes 3 on down. It says, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up which is planted, a time to kill, then a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace." So there's a time and place for everything, and that and that's the proper balance. That goes back into having balance here. There's a time and place for everything. There's a time to do something and a place to do it. You just have to know when and where. And the spirit will tell you. But you first start off you have to be spiritually minded to know these things. You have to be spiritually minded to know when it's a time to do certain things. If you're not spiritually minded, there's you might you might be doing certain things and it might be the wrong time and place to do those things. In order, but you have to be spiritually minded too, and when you are spiritually minded, it's easier to live a balanced lifestyle. It's way easier to live a balanced lifestyle when you're giving yourself to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, because once you do that, you're granted what? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And once you're granted the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, these things will be made plain unto you. You'll know as soon as you're leaning to as soon as a decision is laid out to you, or as soon as you a situation is at hand, or a decision is to be made, and or when you have a specific feeling, you'll know when to act upon it. Now. This Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 10, it says, "He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor that he that loveth abundance with increase. This is also vanity." And that just goes into to the men that are overindulgent. You got to overindulge in the things of of this world. Namely silver. And riches. You won't be satisfied with that. So for the ones that, that don't live a balanced lifestyle and don't know a time and place, those men are just fill a void, and they'll never be fulfilled. They'll never be They'll never be satisfied. And for the men that live a balanced lifestyle and that give themselves to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, those men will be satisfied. Those men will be fulfilled, because the things that we're doing feeds our spiritual, the spiritual man, and a lot of people forget the spiritual man. Humans are very, very, very complicated, and in order for a man to be satisfied, you have to give yourself you have to give yourself spiritually. You have to feed the spirit. A man that just feeds the flesh will never be satisfied, but a man that feeds the spirit and the flesh, that's a man that's blessed. That's a man that's blessed, and that's a man that will be satisfied on all fronts and aspects. And that's a man, when you look at him, his countenance is good, and he has a hopeful future. Now, I'm gonna get this last scripture and I'm gonna close out. This is Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 37. It says, "Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom at thy own desire." And that goes into meditating upon the ordinances of the Lord and his law, statutes, and commandments. Once you do those things, once you're giving your mind to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai and being spiritually minded, He'll establish your heart, meaning give you a righteous heart to be able to get that wisdom, get that knowledge, and get that understanding. And that's why being spiritually minded and having a balanced life is a blessing. Because when you're able to do those things, you're able to get wisdom and knowledge and understanding, which is a gift that keeps on giving and will benefit you in all aspects in life. Up until the time that Yahweh Shai makes his return, and we're changed from the inside out. We're given new bodies, we're given a new mind, and we're given a new mind and a new heart. And with that, I want to say, call law Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, divine to my apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and citations to their late pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. Until next time, I want to say Shalom.